Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. We really apologize. We had a few technical hitches. Normally, we start the meeting at exactly 8 p.m., but technology has played a number on us, and that's what we were sorting out for the last couple of minutes. We really apologize for that. And yes, normally our meetings are webinars, so we normally don't, it's 8 p.m., so we don't want to get disruptions of kids crying, or somebody's in the kitchen cooking as they listen, and then somehow they are unmuted. So we normally have muted everyone except the people who are playing an active role. If you want to participate, obviously you can raise your hand and we will allow you to speak. All right, so without further ado, my God, it's already 8:12. Oh gosh, poleni sana. My name is Grace Nzula, and this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Again, this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. We run this program every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are in the business of changing the world through information. Our mission is to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship, and also matters that affect any employee or entrepreneurs in this world. And we have done 3 seasons. This is season 3 of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Season 1, we were able to do 26 episodes. Season 2, we did 33 episodes, with the last episode being a physical meetup. And we are on the 18th episode of season 3. So if this is your first time with us this evening, we ask you to just visit our YouTube channel, where we have uploaded all the recordings for these sessions. And you can be able to catch up. We've covered quite a lot, from mental health to running a business, to just growing your career, to dealing with culture, to being quarter life crisis, to goal setting, to money related topics. Quite a lot on our YouTube channel. It is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and I'm sure the team will be posting the links here shortly. Allow me to just jump on in the interest of time. Did I say who I am? My name is Grace Nzula. I am the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. I am also a trainer and HR consultant with Atara Solutions. I also run a carpentry school called Panessa Training Institute, where we train people on woodworking. We actually have an intake coming up this June. If you have a passion for woodworking and this is something you'd want to do, or you have a child, a brother, a sister who wants to gain some skill. I mean, COVID taught us that we need more than one income stream. So we do that at Panessa Training Institute. So allow me to just give a shout out briefly to our partners who have enabled us to continue doing justice to, sharing information to everyone, because we believe ignorance has no defense, and also information is power. So we have Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. If you're looking for a piece of land to buy, please, Balcon Housing are your people. We have Stallion Construction Company. If you're looking to renovate your home, your office, or partition a new office that you have moved into, or just make repairs around your home or any office or any other place, Stallion Construction Company are your people. We have Ames College of Business and Technology. If you are an HR professional here and you're looking to take on your CHRP exams, Ames College of Business and Technology are your people. We have Wandi Restaurant. Wandi Restaurant is a restaurant based at Ola Kambiti. Ola Kambiti is located along Nairobi Nanyuki Highway, or Nairobi Nyeri Highway, or Nairobi Kirinyaga Highway at Ola. There's a new petrol station at Kambiti, and there's a restaurant there called Wandi Restaurant. And then we have Career Management Center. Career Management Center is a HR consulting firm as well. They have a program for moms who are transitioning back into employment. If you're a lady who took a break to go and raise a family, or took a break from employment because of family needs, you need to consult Career Management Center on how to bounce back into your job market. And then we have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services have an LMS. They're a training company. They have developed an LMS, which is LMS is Learning Management System. It is loaded with a lot of information. They have been offering free sessions to our people. So every Tuesday, some people have been getting a chance to get free, fully sponsored sessions by Pathway Solution Services. And then we have WeClean. WeClean is a carpet cleaning company. They have a machine that cleans your carpet within 6 minutes. They do 24 hours delivery, and pickup and delivery is free around Nairobi. And then we have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito wanauza vipochopocho vya Mombasa kama vile, oh yeah, I know quite a number of Ugandans are on this call. So Kapula Mintito sell mabuyu. I don't know what mabuyu is in English. Please, you can type on the chat and help me define mabuyu. Kina Horis, tell me, and Mintito, please remind me what mabuyu is in English. They sell cashew nuts, they sell mabuyu, they sell achari, they sell all those coastal goodies. They also have honey, they have sea moss gel, for those of you who know the advantages of sea moss gel, and they also have cashew nuts. So if you're in Mombasa and you're wondering where to get fresh, very tasty mabuyu, please, Kapula Mintito are your people. And then we have Fina Gardens. Fina Gardens Resort is a resort based in Naivasha. If you are there for a conference and you're looking for a place to stay, Fina Gardens Resort will be your people. If you're looking for a place to take your kids or yourself on holiday, they have a very, very beautiful swimming pool. The ambience is wonderful. And my favorite meal there is actually fish. And yes, I promise the ugali is actually well cooked. And then we have the College of Career Guidance and Development. College of Career Guidance and Development are offering a career guidance course. If you're looking to do a diploma in career guidance, then College of Career Guidance and Development are your people. They actually help you mold you into becoming a career guidance a professional, and where you can actually support, whether it's employees, whether it's students you in a school, or whether it's your brothers and sisters, the community. They equip you with tools that you need to actually guide other people in their careers. So they are offering a diploma in career guidance to you guys. So please check them out. They are on Facebook, they are on Instagram. They have quite beautiful stuff. We hosted them last Tuesday. If you missed the session, it's up on our YouTube channel. And I've talked about Panessa Training Institute. It is a woodworking school. We have the June intake ongoing. If you're looking to study carpentry, and or that is one of the things that any of your people want to do, then Panessa Training Institute are there for you. I apologize if I have wrapped. It's in the interest of time, but I needed to do that. Mabuyu is baobab. Thank you. Yes, Mabuyu. Yes, I will drop the links. So thank you very much for sharing, for coming in. Herbert, we appreciate you for sharing the flyer in Uganda. I can see a few people from Uganda here, and I know Said is also tuned in. I have seen Wafula is also there. So thank you guys for joining us. And for all of you, we appreciate you. Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter for Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And we appreciate you and acknowledge your presence, Madam Catherine. Thank you very much for always making it here. So on to the juice of the day. Allow me to introduce Mr. Geshoro Karaoke, or Kenneth Karaoke. He actually is a psychologist whose specialty is marriage and relationships. So if you're going through a rough patch in your marriage, then Kenneth Karaoke is your guy. And allow me to just welcome him, because I mean, we lost a bit of time. Our Facebook family, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be there to check on whatever it is we may be missing from there. So, all right, Kenneth. Kenneth, are you there?
I hope you can hear me now. I've just unmuted myself.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. You know, we have been, yes, in the workplace as HR professionals, we have really been dealing with the idea that we have not been inclusive in terms of taking care of the boy child. And us, like me, I'm a mother of a boy. And sometimes I keep hearing people say that they are mama's boy. And then sometimes these boys are not even sure what that actually means. And we have seen men who, including during funerals, people look at them to see whether they are actually crying, you know?
Yeah,
and they feel
and
like,
the question is, must they cry?
You know. Yeah, so yeah, right. So tell us, how do we, I mean, this the man's mental health, what do you have for us for this topic?
Well, I wanted to put my presentation in terms of questions, and maybe also the participants can participate in these questions. And as I ask these questions, then we reflect upon those questions that I'll be asking. So I don't want to put like a presentation where I'll be like a monologue kind of thing. I would like the participants also to come in and maybe can give also their reflection on this. And maybe without further ado, because of time, I would like by asking the first question. And the first question is, what is the problem? Like, what is the problem with men? Or do we even have a problem with men? All right. And as I reflect on this, it's good to for even our viewers to be asking themselves the same. And if you think there is a problem with men, then you can write it out. If you think there is no problem, there is also no problem of having a different opinion. But I'll focus more on what studies have shown. Most studies have shown that when it comes to seeking help, and this is not only mental health problems, but also uh, um, research that has been done on family doctors. And family doctors will also report the same, that women will visit the doctors more compared to men. In the mental health profession, we will have more clients who are women compared to men. And most researchers will say 3 times more women will seek for help compared to men. Now, the problem is that if you look at the results of maybe the suffering, for example, we know that more women attempt suicide, but more men will die out of suicide. This is because women will try less lethal ways to take out their lives compared to men. So more men will die out of suicide. More men will have diseases that are stress related. We are talking diseases like heart disease. We are talking about blood pressure and so on and so forth. But we'll have men more, and yet men will not seek for help compared to women. So what does that then mean? It means that we have a problem where men are not seeking for help, but they would be suffering alone. Say even in your workplace, you will find that women, when they have a conflict between themselves, will go to the HR or will seek help from the HR, whereas men will try to sort their things out. They will rarely go and speak out that we have this kind of problem or we have that kind of problem. So that is what we are saying is the problem, that we are seeing more results, negative results of mental health issues in men, and yet they are seeking less help from the practitioners, and they seem also not to be handling it as well as they would purport to be. So having addressed what is the problem, then the next question is, whom does it affect? And this is a tricky question because one of the things that I have always asked in these forums, who are complaining? Are the men complaining actually? Are the men asking these questions? Do they see it as a problem in the first case? And this is an important question to ask because much as we might talk about interventions, much as we might talk about this boy child and taking care of this boy child, we are asking ourselves, do they see it first of all as a problem? The problem could be there, but they might not own it. And therefore we might keep on talking about it, but there is no initiative that is coming from the men themselves. So how much does it affect them? Is it them who are complaining? Is it their spouses who are complaining? Is it their female companions at the workplace who are complaining? Who actually is being affected? And the simple answer to that first is that if we can see the results of stress or compounded trauma in men, then that means they are being affected with or without their awareness. We are also seeing a lot of issues. For example, I'm a family therapist, and you will see women talk about what men are doing or what men are not doing, meaning that they're being affected. So we are saying that everyone in the society will be affected when a single person is affected in that particular society. So we are saying that not seeking help for men is not a men's problem. It is a societal problem. It is everyone in the society who will be affected by it. So if we say that, then maybe the next question I would like to ask, and just get a few remarks on this, is we are saying that, yes, there is a problem of men not expressing when they have got issues, or not getting or not seeking help when they have issues. Is this something that is unique to men? Like, for example, is it genetic, or is it a social problem? And maybe we can get some views on this. If we can get some, if I can just give a minute or two to hear from our audience. Not seeking for help, is it something that is genetic in men, or is it a social issue?
And as we wait to answer Mr. Kenneth's question, if any of your contacts are unable to join the webinar with the Zoom, I've shared the Facebook link. Somehow, I don't know what's happening, but the Zoom is not taking in. We have a Zoom that can take up to 1,000 people, but today I don't know what's happening. So yeah, right. So you can go ahead and answer. Yeah, they're saying it's a social issue. Kathy says it's land cultural. Social. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Social issue, maybe be feeling inferior, social issues. Yeah. Social issue. Yeah. I see like everybody is saying social issue. Social issue. It's a cultural, especially with Kikuyu. All right, I'm laughing at that because I'm coming to that. Cultural issue. All right. Okay. So one of the reasons that we ask that question is actually because this has been shown not as maybe to be allowed to answer verbally. We can hear that maybe. Someone is asking to answer verbally.
I'll have to find them. So just in a minute. Yeah, but you can go ahead as I look for them.
All right. Why am I asking this question? It's a question that we may ask because much as we may think that it is our culture or a certain culture which has got this issue, studies that have been done worldwide have also shown that women will seek more help when it comes to mental health issues compared to men globally. So if we are talking about socialization, then we are asking ourselves, how come it is so global? How comes that it is not maybe just in a certain culture and not in another culture? You know, it seems to be like it is more like everywhere the same is happening. And this is taken from researches that have been done across cultures. It is showing that men seem to not to seek for help more, or men keep to themselves more. And so some people would say, yeah, it is genetic in that men do not express their emotions more. Of course, you know, there is the argument of the male brain and the female brain, which is also like in psychology, we have a lot of that. Do we think different? Do we socialize different? Do we, for example, express our emotions differently, maybe men and women? And do we say that because of our way of thinking or of our way of expressing emotions, then women are at an advantage even when it comes to expressing themselves? And that is one side of the argument, that how come then it is across cultures. But there is also another dimension which would say that, men are not so different from women when it comes to emotions, because we have the same emotions. We feel the same as women feel. There is no male anger or female anger. Even if we were to express it differently, it is still the same in terms of human emotion. And the conclusion that seems to be coming out is just like the conclusion that we have had here, but it is an essential question, because then if it is genetic, then men would say, then we cannot learn. You are forcing us to get into something that we cannot do. But if it is a social issue, then it means that it is learned and therefore can be unlearned. Now, most of the studies are coming to conclude that it is a socialization issue, that people are being, or men are socialized in a way of not expressing themselves, or in a way that they should not show their feelings. All right. So what are we saying? Then we are saying that though sometimes some genetics might play a role, but it is mainly a social issue. It is about how men are socialized. So then we need to know, what is this socialization that you are talking about? One, we are saying that from a very young age, as even our presenter has said, you have a young boy and you want this boy to grow into a man. So what is the definition of this man? Who is a man? Okay. How is a man supposed to be? If, for example, I was presenting and maybe someone shares a very emotional story and I cry from my side, you who is viewing me, and of course you're viewing a man, and I have started crying, how would you react to that? Or say you have a male therapist and they cry in the session. Would it be different from when a woman would cry? And one time I was presenting somewhere, and it was I was with the presenter, and I asked the presenter, if you said something and I cried, how would you behave? And she said I would stop the show, because simply I am not supposed to cry. I'm the man here. So we have sent this message to our boys that men are not supposed to cry, that men are not supposed to show negative emotion. Otherwise, that would make you less of a man. And this is what boys grow up with. They grow up knowing that crying is a sign of weakness, that showing your negative emotion is a sign of weakness. And we have also had, like some people saying, that man is so emotional. Okay. So that means the man should not be that emotional. Or if a man was to cry, if a man was to show no emotion, and would be what we call stoic. Stoic is a person who shows no emotion, regardless of what they are passing through. If a man would be more stoic, then that man would receive praise, would be told, yes, you are more of a man, you are going to be a man, and that would be a praise given to him. So there is a lot of reinforcement, I would say, when a person is growing, when they are a man, not to show the emotion, not to show negative feeling, and even in some cases, not even to show the positive feeling. So let us look at what are some of these things that we are talking about. Why don't men then seek help? One of the reasons is what has been termed in psychology as non-normative men alexithymia. Normative men alexithymia. Now, normative men alexithymia is simply saying men not having a word for an emotion. So you don't have the language to express your emotion. An example is given in one of the in one of the researches that have been done. This research was done among therapists and the experience in therapy. And in one of the therapy sessions, there is a man who had taken his son out. And both of them were supposed to have a good time together, but then it did not turn out well. You know, like those places that you go, you want to have a good time, you want to play together, and just kind of come together. That what sometimes I hear people calling a man-to-man talk. So when they went with this young man, both of them were not happy, and they did not have a good time as they thought they would. So when they came in for therapy, this was a family therapy session, and the therapist asked the man, how was the outing with your son? And the man said, not good. So he was asked, how did you feel about it? The man answered, I would not like to have it again. So the therapist insisted, but what is the feeling? And the man said, I have just told you I would not like to play with my son again. I would not like to go out with my son again. See, he did not have a word for the feeling. And so the therapist turns to the son and says, so what do you feel about what happened between you and your dad? And the son looks at him and says, I feel the same as my dad. So the therapist would insisted and asked, but what is that feeling? And he said, I also would not like to play with my dad again. So both the son and the father missed out the words to express the feeling that they had. And the therapist had to work on that and give it a name. So where does this come in? How is it associated with the socialization we were talking about? This comes in because, for example, if a boy was to cry, the next thing you'd tell the boy is men do not cry. And so they keep quiet with it. They learn to be silent about it. They learn to be silent about the things that they're going through. If a boy came home and he was talking a lot, the first thing you are told is men don't talk too much. You be a man. You don't have to say everything that you pass through. And so being a man is being associated with being silent, not talking a lot, not saying what you're going through. Even in your place of work, you know, a man would suffer silently because by talking too much about what he's going through, then they would not be men. Women are the ones who are supposed to be gossipers. Women are the ones who are supposed to be saying what is going on much more, and men are more supposed to be silent. Eventually, what turns out is then men do not have a language to express themselves, and this could be one of the things that also makes men not be able to express themselves. Another reason for this is that expressing negative feelings has been taken sometimes to be a point of weakness among men. And therefore, if they were to talk about a negative feeling, then they would be ashamed about it. So they don't have the language for expressing a negative feeling, for expressing a feeling like I felt sad or frustrated, or I felt defeated by what was happening. So, and that is not a disability, by the way, in men. It is something that is just learned. Now, another reason that has been put is that women are encouraged to have more of what we call acting in behavior when they are stressed. Acting in would mean having feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, expressing that. For example, saying that I felt fear. You know, if, for example, I'm right now I'm at home, and we had people coming in, like we had thugs coming in. Women would say, I was very fearful. I felt like hiding. I felt hopeless, and there was nothing I would do. Just imagine you having a man in the house, say your husband, and you're being attacked, and he tells you, I feel fearful, I feel like hiding. You know, the next question would, so then what do we do? So men are not encouraged to have those kind of feelings where they would feel, they would express hopelessness, or they would express the fears that they have. Now, men tend to do what we call more of acting out. Acting out is expressing negative feelings with things like anger. So if a man is going through a depressive period, they would be more angry with people around them. Substance abuse, even having sex with women randomly is another way that men would express that they're passing through a hard time. Now, if you look at some of these acting out behaviors, which are very negative, by the way, they also could be taken as a way of showing masculinity. So a man who drinks more in a bar is taken to be more masculine. A man who would fight and kind of defeat others in a fight is taken to be more masculine. A man who expresses their anger is taken to be a man, you know, he's more masculine. Okay, a man who would resist arrest, for example, and beat up the policeman would look like more masculine. But that behavior is an acting out behavior of a problem which has been there. So it could be that as men express themselves in the way that they express themselves, actually, instead of being helped, they are praised for that behavior. And so it might not be seen as a problem, or they might also not perceive it as a problem to them. And therefore, the need for seeking help might not even come. And that could be one of the reasons why men will find, once you tell a man that they need help, they'll ask you for what? They don't see the problem, or they don't get to see that there's something wrong. If you ask their partner, they'll tell you, the way he's behaving nowadays is not normal. Okay? And therefore, men need to know what is it, what would be the indicators that I'm in a stressful situation. What would when I do a certain thing, does it mean that I have a problem? And this would be some of the things that we might be looking at. Even from the professional point of view, are we really aware of how men act out, or how men express themselves when they have some of these conditions that need help? There is also what we call the values that we have in the society. Researches that have been done have shown that some of the values that men have could lead to more psychological issues at workplace, with relationships, even as they move around, they'll have more issues. One of them is independence. Men who have been shown to value independence more, and that is in terms of masculinity, that I am a man, I should not ask for help. I am a man, I should not show that I am broke, for example. I am a man, I cannot ask for fare, so I would rather walk on foot to whatever distance, have been shown to suffer more or psychologically, or to have more stress. You see, like if you look at your workplace, for instance, if you had no bus fare, men would prefer going back home on foot and nobody knowing that they did not have bus fare. A woman will look for a fellow woman, will even ask from the men. We'll also tell the men, you know, I have no bus fare. Would you help me out? All right. They will ask for the money, and maybe at the end of the month, they will still say, you see, the last month I had a lot of debts, so would you still wait? They would have no problem with that. What about men? Would you even seek for the help from a fellow man? And how would that be perceived? Right? Another thing is men who have got the value of power, that they need to be more powerful. They need to be in control. And this can be cultural, because culturally, we know that men most of the time are put in positions of power. especially when we have these masculine communities. So what that means is that they want to be in control. You have to be in control. You have to be the one who has to say. Okay, and that is, of course, what you're saying. What is expected of you from the society. So, if this man was to have a problem, how would they express that they have a problem? And they have to be in control. They have to be in power. They have to show that they are the men. A good example is even when you have an issue, you will see a man saying, "I'm the man of this house." So that would mean probably that I'm stressed, or that you're stressing me. But they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say, for example, they wouldn't accept to a defeat. I have had in my therapy session, especially when I'm talking about in relationships, I have had women saying, "You see, this man, even if I told him something, he will first refuse. And then after some time, he will come and give the same proposal as if it has come from him." All right. So what are we saying? We are saying that sometimes men who have got a lot of issues to do with power, whose socialization has showed them that they have to be in power, are more vulnerable to having psychological issues at workplace, in their relationships, even at home. They will have issues to do with that. And you can see that this is a product of socialization and the values that have been put. Now, these values that have been put into these men end up to being what we call societal expectations. That this is what you value as a man, and it also is what is expected of you as a man. Okay. Now, all this also ends up to what we call a negative masculinity. How do you look, or how do you define yourself as a man? This is important, because if you define masculinity as being in control, being powerful, as solving all the issues that you have, if that is how you define masculinity, then you become more vulnerable to mental health issues. And not only more vulnerable, but even seeking help would be an issue. Now, because I also want to have time for question and answers, I would like briefly to go to how do we, what are the interventions that we have, or how do we help in this case? The first thing is availability. Most studies have shown that most men will not seek help from a fellow man. All right? They will seek help from a woman in their lives, either their mother, either their wife, or just someone. They will share deeply with someone who is a woman in their lives. Okay? And so I think one of the things is just being available for these men. Just saying, yeah, true, I'll be there for you. The other thing is, most studies have also asked the question, so why wouldn't a man go to a man? But you see, women will have a funny way of doing it, because studies that have compared men and women will show that women will most probably seek support from a fellow woman when it comes to emotional issues. But when it comes to financial issues, fixing your car, or maybe carrying a heavy luggage or something like that, they will seek help from a man. So women will be more ready to share with a fellow woman, but men will not feel it easy to share with a fellow man. So the question of availability would also mean, can men be more available to fellow men? Can we just say to this man that you're not the only man who is going through this? And this has been shown to be a good intervention, where men are encouraged and are shown that actually this is not a unique thing to you. Other men also go through it. And therefore, men need to come out more and express themselves more, so that it doesn't look like I'm the only one who is having this issue. I'm the only one who is having depression or anxiety or even stress, for that matter. There is something that we are kind of asking ourselves, is it that men do not want help? Or is it that the help that we are providing is not favoring men? Could we maybe be thinking about having a setup that would be more favorable to men? Could we, for example, have a setup where men would be more comfortable sharing, get out of even our comfort zone as professionals, and see that what will suit men more? And this is a question that we are also kind of looking at, even from a professional point of view. And it's a question that we are still looking at and asking ourselves, then what would favor men more? I know, for example, that in some countries, before a football match starts, during the advertisement, they will have a short period where they would talk about something about mental health, about depression, about being okay, even if you're not okay, being ready to share it out, talk to friends, or start up a topic on that. Would we, for example, go to where men gather and talk about mental health, or even create a gathering for men and talk about mental health, and this gathering to be favorable to the men themselves? I think I would stop at that to allow time for question and answers. I would like to take it back to Altara.
All right. Kenneth, as you speak, and I'm just busy thinking, how do we, okay, I know part of it is probably having this conversation we're having this evening in terms of reconditioning the men to seek help. But I keep looking at it from a point of, at what point do we also change the mindset, or rather change the culture of the society, so that then it is acceptable for men to show heart. It is acceptable for men to actually express their feelings of their stress. At what point does the society change in terms of expectations?
Yeah, I think that's why we need to have this conversation aloud. That's why we need to ask the questions, like those crucial questions. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but that's why we need to ask those crucial questions of, is it the men who have got a problem, or is it the whole society that has got a problem? See, one of the issues that I have after looking at all the researches that have been done is that this is mostly addressed as a man's problem. But is it really a man's problem, or is it a societal problem? It's time that we started looking at it as a societal problem. I'll give you an example. People will talk about the boy child. The boy child has been ignored. We need to concentrate more on the boy child. Now, my question is always, if we concentrate more on the boy child, what will happen again to the girl child? Will we come again and ask about the girl child? I think we should be talking about all children. If we're talking about empowerment, let's talk about empowering all our children, both boys and girls. If you're talking about expression of emotions, let's talk about expressing all our children, boys and girls. Not look at it as a male problem, a female problem, and so on and so forth. And that would mean that if we are empowering all our children, it means the boy child is empowered, the girl child is empowered. All right. If then we are talking about men expressing themselves, we are not saying that there is no issue, but I think it's a societal issue. We should all be participating in it. I like what sometimes whenever I present this kind of presentation, there is always the question that comes. I always expect it. I have a boy, and I want this boy to grow, to be a man. What do I do? See, the problem is always I have a boy and I want this boy to be a man. And we are saying, who is this man? Can you first of all define the man? So that you can say, this is what I expect. Because again, this man is not well defined. So we need to get to a place where we are asking ourselves as a society, whom do we want to be this man? Of course, there is also the question of building resilience, that we also need to have men who are more resilient. Why? Because there's also a lot of demand in the society. We also have to agree that these men have got to be responsible. We need somebody who is responsible. We need a person who can defend us at one point. We need a person. So we are talking about moving away from negative masculinity to building resilience in men. I think that, what we really want from them, we should really define it. So when should this start? I think it should even have started yesterday.
Yeah, I like
Right?
the idea of resilience, yeah, because just as you speak, I'm looking at it from a point where I've had cases, and I'm sure Beverly, who said a lot of men share with her a lot of stuff. I've seen cases where a man gets fired, does not tell the wife or the family. They put on a suit every day and pretend to go to work, but they don't go to work. I've also seen on the flip side, when a man does not have when a man does not have what do we call it, a job, or there's no income, then even they themselves think that they're not being shown respect at home, or think that they're not being defined as men. So I get lost in this too,
Yeah, true.
So, and I guess the answer is what you're talking about, resilience.
The society expects men to be hardened, for example. Oh, I've missed that. There was something, there was a comment.
It's there. The society expects men to be hardened. For example, a girl child in high school will be dropped and picked during opening and closing, while the boy child is let to find his way to and from school to build resilience. This reconditioning should start with parents.
Yeah. I think it should start with everyone. We need to take care of our children and look at them as children. And not only with we need first to start talking aloud about it. We need to educate ourselves about it. I think the society is very good at complaining. We are very good at complaining, of saying that we don't have men, of saying that we are not bringing up men. But you're not very good at, for example, looking at what is this that you're talking about. See, I like referring more to research, because this is data that has been, people have gone out there, found out data, and came and said, this is what we have found out. The society is very good at making assumptions. We don't have men, so what do we have? All right. This is we are having people who are weak. What made them weak? We need to go further and ask these questions. All right. And we are saying, were our forefathers stronger, or even our fathers, were they stronger, or did they act stronger? I would like to give an example of a study that was done in Rwanda. Right after the massacre, it is said that men seemed to have acted strong, to have adapted faster, compared to women who looked weaker and who looked like they have been affected more. So they cried more, they mourned more, but men seem to go back to their normal life faster. But then 6 months after, 1 year after, most men suffered from what we call post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, compared to women. So you see, even when we are talking about building resilience in men, we are saying building resilience does not mean acting okay. It means training our men to have to adjust themselves in a way that they can cope with negative life events. And negative life events will come to everyone. So negative life events, for example, is what has just been given as examples. That what would happen if you got lost, right? What would happen if you lost a job? What would happen if you have finished your college, you have stayed 2-3 years, you have no job? Do you have a coping mechanism? Do you have a way of dealing with issues as they come? So we need also to define, what do we want? We just don't want someone to find their way home and say that we are building resilience from that. we need men who have got coping mechanisms that are healthy, and somehow to have a reservoir of that, so that if one coping mechanism doesn't work, can you use another? This is what we call emotional flexibility, sometimes also called emotional flex. It's a topic on its own that would need a lot of time. But we need men who can have, if I'm not employed, can I do something else? If I'm not, if today I'm sacked and I'm going home, can I go and tell my family that we have a problem here? Our income has either reduced or we have no income. And as the family, what do we do? And come up with a plan together with the family of what we can do to mitigate the situation. So we need also to define this hardening, we are hardening. What are we doing? Because you see, if I harden something, then I'm also making it more easy for it to break. The reason that plastic doesn't break is because it's not so hard, it is more flexible. So are we talking about flexibility or just hardening? Because if you harden so much, then you're also making men easy to break. So we need to know what do we really want out of these men.
All right. So as we ponder on that thought on what we really want with the men, and probably you'll give us 3 tips on how to take care of our mental health, and especially the men. Wafula, you had a comment?
Yeah, thank you very much, Grace, and thank you very much, Dr. Kariuki. Just a quick one. Have you heard of somebody called Samuel Doe? He's the president of Liberia. Now that's what they call a man. What happened? They cut his ear to show them where the money was. He refused. The other ear, they even cut his privates. He still didn't, and he died like that. But that's I'm just saying how maybe he was socialized to be like that. But coming back nearer home, I come from the Bukusu group. And the Bukusu, this happens with circumcision here. We circumcise every alternate year. Now, after circumcision, you go into a retreat for about almost 2 months. And during that time, you are trained, one, to learn to defend the community. That's one. Two, you learn to provide for the community. That's two. Three, which might be controversial, you also learn how to please a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So that in that order, one is expected to act like that after. And in fact, you are then declared, you've now been given a new plate, a new bowl, even new clothes. It's a transition, a formal transition. And one of the things you're not expected to do then is to cry, which is sad, really. But you're not. When my mom died, I had difficulty not crying. In the end, I cried, and somebody came and tried to console me and so on, but I couldn't deal with it, you know. Anyway, so the point is, men are not expected to cry, but we have emotion. We feel pain. We feel joy. We feel, you know, excitement. But you know, we're not expected to do that. But this I'm just sharing with you. I'll end there so that it's not my space here, but I just wanted you to know that there are certain communities who seriously train people to behave in a certain way as they go older. At that point, you're then allowed to marry a wife, to get a wife. And if you don't have one, they'll give you a wife. They'll bring, you know. So I can see Grace laughing. It's true. And there's no upper limit. We're not like Muslims, which they say 4. My grandfather had 33 at the time he died. So, you know, those things. I'll leave it there, but I appreciate this discussion, and that it's unfair to the men and also unfair to the women, because in a way, there doesn't seem to be a balance.
Yeah,
men are expected to behave this way, women are expected to behave this way. And also, let's face it, and I stand corrected, you know, a girl can cry, but she's not crying. Okay, sorry, that's enough. Thank you.
No, but I would like to point out something there. You see, there's a kind of balance in that tradition, because we really focus on the pain and the fact that you were told not to cry when you're being maybe circumcised or something like that. But we also fail to focus on the fact that there was education after that. there was an empowerment after that. There was,
Yes.
I just want to also correct Afula that it should not be an embarrassment that you learn how to please a woman. I mean, it is, there's nothing wrong with pleasing a woman. But what I'm saying is, you were educated, you are prepared for it. Well, yeah, of course, there might be those negative ones,
Yes.
but it's also good to note that for you to develop that resilience, some education was to be given.
Yes,
Some knowledge was to be given. And that is also an important point to look at, so that the society does not just focus on one thing, doesn't just focus on the fact that you were not supposed to feel pain, or you danced around the whole day, or it was very early in the morning you were taken to the river, but there was something else in terms of empowerment there.
Yes. Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Grace,
thank you.
Grace,
Yes.
no fight. No, I know you'd win this fight if you had to have a fight. So I accept.
See, you're part of the society that needs to change.
No, we have always been winning. We've always been
Already
winning.
you assume
so
that
now,
women will have this space, and you see
I'm
what Dr.
accepting.
Karaoke is telling us. We need to equalize these things. Yeah, we need to allow everybody to belong. But okay, there's something I just want you to share with us, Mr. Karaoke, like 3 or 4 pointers on how men can just start or just get comfortable sharing, and also how they can just talk themselves into healing mentally. Yeah. Like what
I
are
think
some of the things?
the first thing is to start by building healthy relationships. Building healthy relationship has been shown by very many studies to be one point of resilience, that people who have got relationships that are working, relationships where you can be vulnerable, are more resilient. All right. So try as much as possible to build a healthy relationship. And this is where sometimes you go wrong with a negative masculinity, because you start by showing that you're a man, you don't care about the other, you don't care about their emotions, you don't take good care of them. And so they also reciprocate with the same. They also don't take care of you. Maybe you're going through a very hard time at your place of work. People have been abusing you all the way. And you see, the men's world is also very rough. We have to admit that. If I'm arrested today, and you, Grace, are arrested today, I'm very sure you are not going to be treated the same. Right? My arrest will be more violent. All right? Even when I'm thrown into the cells, my cell will be more rough. So we are not being judgmental. We are just saying we are different, and it's okay to be different. But also to admit that if I have somewhere where I can, at the end of the day, go and lay down my frustration and be able to talk more and build a healthy relationship where people can support me, then I'm ready to take good care of myself more. I think also creating an environment where men can talk about their issues without feeling less of a man. Changing our men need to start changing the way they look at things. So, for example, if a man came to me and they were crying, I need to create an environment whereby they can feel free to cry in front of me, and I won't judge them. I'll give you an example. Before I started working on them as a mental health practitioner, I had my mother who died, and I cried, but privately. I hid somewhere. I cried, finished, then got out. And many people believed that I did not cry. So I was told I'm the man of the family, that I'm the bravest among even my brothers, because I'm the one who did not cry. The same happened when my dad passed away. You know, I did not show outwardly that I cried privately. But by then I had started going into this mental health practice, learning more. And I came to know there is nothing wrong with crying. So when my brother died and I cried openly in front of everyone, people looked at it and said, he's softening up. So we need we need to get to a point whereby expressing negative emotion for men will not be looked at something that is negative. Men need to start talking to themselves more positively, even amidst negative events. You hear this in women. Women will talk more positively, even when they are amidst negative events. They will say, okay, I have no job, but something good is going to come. Women will say that, okay, we will trust and something, we know that sometimes in our tradition, we say, we know God is there. You rarely hear that from men. So men have to practice more of giving themselves positive self-talk. Positive self-talk has shown to be very helpful when it comes to maintaining mental health. Even among people who have got mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, positive self-talk has shown to work on them perfectly. Like almost, it is one of the things that every client who comes to me, we have to talk about, talking to yourself more positively. The other hint that I would like also to give is involvement. Involvement means what? Go to a church. Most people you'll find there are women. And religiosity and spirituality have been shown or to relate with mental health. Here, I'm not saying join these people or join that church or join that religion, but what we are saying is that being engaged in a spiritual activity that gives you meaning, all right, has been shown to correlate very positively with mental health. Now, even being involved in groups for women have also been shown that it provides a place where you can get social support systems. And these social support systems have been shown to make people grow. So men need to create time when they can have not just a beer, but also having a beer is not bad, but where you can just come and talk about your issues, talk about what is going on, about what is going on in your family. What sometimes we used to call gossip, that women are gossip, women are talking about us. And there is nothing wrong when they talk about us. If they don't talk about us and they're spending time with us, so what are they supposed to talk about? All right. So we can also talk about the frustrations that we are facing and talk about them genuinely and without having that thing of I will look weak. You remember when the issue of domestic violence came and the question was, are men battered? It became such an issue. If, for example, you went to fellow women and said, I was slapped by my husband yesterday, it would not be an issue. They would probably tell you, sorry, you know, that is the way men are and all that. If I went to a meeting where men are and I said I was slapped by my wife yesterday, that will be a different story.
Serious. No. No.
You see, even now Wafula says it. We need to get to that point where somebody can say that, actually, and men would listen to you and kind of support you to go through that. All right. So that change of attitude, change of mentality is very important if we want to achieve a better mental health for men.
All right. I hope the men here are actually taking notes and you understand what Mr. Karaoke is talking about. Peter is saying, are there any support systems for religious perspective men, for men, from a religious perspective for men?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me read this because this is quite interesting. He says the Bible gives direction for orphans and widows, but not for widowers. Perhaps it's by nature that men have to face up to issues as they arise. You can even pick a fuller stone. So is there, yeah.
Grace, it's
yeah.
no.
So you can see the question I was asking, is it genetic or is it social? So, that's an argument where people would say, I think this is more genetic, men will know how to do it and all that. And that's why it's important to really answer that question. It might look like a simple question, but it's a question that would really reflect on how then do we act upon this. But what we are saying is that men are human. And as human, you need support. And as human, you sometimes you'll go down and you need someone to pick you up. But they will not pick you up if you don't ask them to pick you up. So have that courage to say, I think I need to be picked up. I think here I need support from people around me, instead of waiting until that point where you break. Yeah, so I think, and don't forget that even sometimes religion can also be biased. But however, we are also saying that despite those biases, people who participate more, and I'm answering to some of the questions that you have asked, people who participate more in spiritual and religious activities have been shown to be happier in their lives and more resilient to issues that come into their lives.
Okay, I'm trying to flip through the comments. But there's somebody, Anthony is asking, how do they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me through the HISIA website. If you log into the HISIA website, you are going to get into HISIA, and then you can ask about getting in touch with me. My number is 0723 316 438.
Say that again, please.
Say that again.
0723
Yes.
316
Yes.
438.
438. Thank you.
All right. If you get to the HISIA website, you'll also get contacts or that you can reach me through HISIA.
All right.
How do you type that? I mean, what's HISIA? How do you spell that? HISIA.
HISIA is
Feelings.
HISIA.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sawa. Thank you.
They call themselves HISIA psychology consultants.
Okay.
Yes, HISIA psychology consultants.
Yeah, and they've been running a series on men's mental health on Twitter for the last, I think, about 8 months now, since last year. So if you go to their Twitter space, you'll see a lot of conversation going around about men and the mental health. And I know there was a comment about us as parents and our contribution to the issues on mental health in terms of failing to communicate. There's a friend of mine who was telling me the other day that his mental issues were caused by his mother and the divorce that took place when he was a young boy, you know, and he's currently fighting addiction. So I guess it also contributes to the mental, to the mental well-being of us as humans. All right. Yes, I think we're just going to, Ellie saying genetics play a role in whether or not you may be more prone to mental health issues, such as mood disorders.
Yes,
is this true?
Yes, it is very true. But the approach that we are talking about today is a combination of genetics and the social events that surround you. So you could be genetically more vulnerable, but then you have a more supportive environment around you, more social support, and therefore you might not get to that point where you develop a psychological disorder. And someone else could be more resilient genetically, but then they lack social support within the environment, and therefore will also lead to that disorder. So today we are talking about a combination of both genetic predisposition and the social support system around you. So we want to look at it more of a combination of the two. but it is true that genetics play a big role in how resilient you will also become.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I like that summary. Felix Mohando, you wanted to say something? Your hand is up. Felix Mohando. Felix Mohando. Okay. Joan is asking, do you provide therapy for alcohol and drug abuse addicts? Any training for parents and caregivers to handle mental health?
We should be having that coming up from the HISIA, and HISIA will be posting that very soon on parenting and parents and mental health. I also do offer that kind of addiction counseling, family counseling, and all that. But I would really like to point out something here, that if we were to talk about parenting and mental health, that would be a whole series on itself. All right. There's a lot about parenting and mental health that needs to be discussed more. There's also a lot about parenting and your place of work. Most of how you behave in your place of work, how you relate with your HR in your place of work, has a lot to do with the parenting and how the parenting style that you went through. It also has to do a lot with the attachment you formed between you and your parents. So that's a wide one. There's also a whole wide topic we can talk about parenting and addiction, because it also has a lot of influence on that. So yeah, I can provide training on that. Also, I can provide training on that through the WISIA platform as well.
All right, Kathy is saying, and I think this is important as we finalize, is this men don't cry a predominantly African problem? Because generally Mzungus cry openly.
Oh, really?
I like how Wafula has said. I just would like to say it with the Wafula style, really. I think you have been shown an image of Wazungus that is not true. Research has shown that most cultures all over the world have got this predominant problem. All right. I know when you go to the movies, they will cry. When you do what, they will cry. But this has been shown that it is a problem that is in most cultures. All right. Maybe they became more aware of mental health issues, started talking more about them earlier than us, but doesn't mean that they don't have the same problem. I think this is a problem that is there. It is a more of a worldwide problem. It's only that now we are speaking it out. It's just like what we say. For example, I want to give an example of some of the things that we have in our society and then relate it to mental health. Is it that we are having more cancer issues today, or is it that today there is more diagnosis and therefore we can diagnose them more? Was it there but maybe not diagnosed? All right. The same thing with mental health issues. Is it that today we are having more mental health issues, or is it that we didn't know that these were mental health issues and therefore not diagnosed?
I think that is both, because I mean, back in the day, technology wasn't as much as it is now. So in terms of cultivating relationships, right now our relationships are very plastic compared to when we were a community, I guess.
What are you talking about it more? This is what I would look. This is how I would look at it. See, let me give an example of myself. When I was growing up, my mother would be beaten by my dad. Then the next minute, she would come back and say, "Do you want some food?" Right after being beaten, "Do you want some food? Do you want some tea?" And she would really take care of him as if nothing has happened. Wasn't that plastic?
Very.
Let me not say anything.
So if today that happens, and God forbid that ever happens, I wouldn't expect the same of my wife. I would even be very surprised. I mean, today she would talk about, I'm leaving, I cannot stand this. So what is more plastic here? We need to understand some of these concepts. What is more plastic here? Is it that maybe the word plastic is being defined differently today? Or is it that relationships have really changed? I think the dynamics in relationships have remained more constant, more the same, but our reactions to those dynamics and the way we react to them has changed with time. All right? And therefore we need to look at, do we really need to change the dynamics, or do we need to change the reactions? Do we need a situation where we can be abusive and our wives will act as if nothing has happened, or do we need to take care of the abuse so that the abuse does not happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you, Karaoke. And I think this is a conversation that has just begun. And I hope our partners can keep it with us so that we are able to bring more of these sessions as we continue with Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And let me just remind you that this session is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing and Stallion Construction Company Limited, Pathway Solutions, and College of Career Guidance and Development. Yeah, so I have not seen another question. Most of them are just comments. Somebody saying the mourners for hire actually do cry. So that is what Martin says. And I agree. I mean, I think we need to normalize expressing of emotions from what Karaoke is saying. We need to talk more about this. We need to make sure that we raise resilient boys and girls, or rather children who can be able to take responsibility for themselves and for their actions and the situations that they are in, to have a progressive society. And what he said is also that it is combined. I mean, you cannot raise a stronger boy and leave the girl. You have to do it for both. And be available for the men. Allow them to vent to you. Allow them to talk to you. And if you can't handle it, refer them to a psychologist. Refer them to a specialist, so that then we need to fix this nation. We need to change the world. We need to be comfortable and become more resilient. And I think, I don't know whether there's somebody who has, I don't know, Margaret Kaniaru, your hand has been up for a very long time. I don't know whether you needed to say something. And yeah, so we really apologize to the people who tried to log in and somehow technology today just decided they cannot come in. We really apologize, but I hope you are able to log in on Facebook. But we will be sharing this recording. We normally upload it on our YouTube channel, and I'm sure the team is about to put in the link. Please subscribe and ring the bell. Leave us a comment, and we hope to continue having this conversation. I hope we can sustain this at least every quarter, so that we can be the change that we want to see, and also support the men as they get into, because this is a new concept for us. So as we get comfortable around expressing ourselves, as we get comfortable around not telling, by the way, from here on, anyone on this call, we cannot say that that is a mother's child, mommy's boy. We need to stop using those terms. We need to stop telling men to man up. Yeah. What is the other thing that we need to stop, Mr. Karaoke?
we need to encourage our children to cry, actually. We need to stop saying don't cry, or men do not cry. Men do cry. All right.
I think after a while they have to stop crying. And they have
to,
hey,
after a while, everybody
can't just keep
crying.
Yes. Stop
yeah,
after a while,
I like
the example of Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe, walikata masikio, walikata nini. Yeah, he was not cry. Anyway, I appreciate this discussion.
And Ali is saying, which I think is important, is there a relationship between mental strength and mental health?
Yes, there is a relationship between mental strength and mental health. but you have to get the real definitions of some of these words. I have seen even sometimes in some of these websites in the internet, and you find a definition that is given there is not very professional. Okay, mental strength has got more to do with resilience, and what I have termed as emotional flex, because emotional flex leads to more resilience. That is what would lead to more strength, and then that would also lead now to being more healthy. And some of these terms are not used like, because there is mental strength, then there is mental weakness. We cannot relate them like that, okay? You need to get them the way they're supposed to do. We build more strength. We have already got some strength. Like one of us said, that some of this strength is genetic. We already have some strength that then we want to build on it. So we don't talk about being mentally weak. We just talk about building on the strength that you have.
Correct. So if I can ask one sentence as a parting shot, Mr. Kariuki.
I think my sentence would be, it is normal to pass through hard events. It is normal to feel like sometimes you're not okay. Today, we don't say that it is okay not to be okay, because that's a contradiction. You're not okay. But it is normal to feel that you're not okay. And you're not the only one who is not okay. There's so many other people who are not okay. It's just a matter of degree. All of us, to some extent, are not okay with something. It's just the degree that matters. So you're just like anybody else. You are like somebody else, and you are like nobody else. Thank you.
Excellent.
That is really nice. That is, Mr. Kariuki, you can come to the club for a beer. No crying.
Lakini Wafula, let me tell you, men need to stop buying other men beer when they lose jobs and they are not sending them back home with shopping. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, okay. But we'll do
Thank
both.
you.
We'll buy the beer and then they send him home with the unga.
No, actually, because they will never take the unga, they refuse the unga. So I in my opinion, is you send Glovo to deliver the unga, and I'm not, because I should reach out to Glovo to be partners. Anyway, you dial a number and send the package to the house, yeah, the shopping, and then send them an Uber to come and join you wherever it is that you are at.
Okay, that's
the
doable.
Local. But the first thing that you do is make sure that the family is fed, because every time that they go out to and come back home drunk, the family thinks that they have money, they're refusing to share. And that time it's Wafula and Kariuki who decided, you know what, our boy has lost his job and we are buying.
Yeah.
So send the unga. Go to that wholesale, get the 10 liters of unga, get the bundle of unga ugali, and send that thing before you say you call the man for the drink. I think we don't need to normalize help.
True.
Grace, you can come also. Grace, you're welcome to the club. But I won't send you. I won't send anything to your husband. He might poison me.
Anyway, so all right, so I think this was quite an insightful session, and I got somebody who said, I would like to share with you guys on your platform about my struggles with mental health. So we're going to organize that so that then we can also hear how they've been able to deal with. And normally when we do such sessions, we also combine with a specialist who can actually now give us proper tools to deal in case we just sort of maneuvered our way out of the mental illness or something like that. So allow me to just say asanteni sana to our partners. Balcon Housing is a real estate company and property management. If you're looking for a piece of land to buy, then Balcon Housing are your people. Stallion Construction Company, if you're looking to renovate your house, or you're looking to renovate your office, or just do partitioning, then Stallion Construction Company are there for you. Or if you're looking to construct a house, they also do build homes. And then we have Ames College of Business and Technology. If you're looking to take a diploma or a certificate in any business related course, and College of Ames College of Business and Technology will be your people. They're actually located at Lotus House in the city center. And then we have College of Career Guidance and Development. College of Career Guidance and Development, they have an awesome program for you that trains you to become a career guider, a career guide, oh God, or offer career guidance services. And they do this online, and they're quite affordable. It's a 1-year course, and you get out of there being able to support people in your workplaces, to support people in your churches, to support people in your community in terms of choosing career. Because remember, we are complaining that we have half-baked graduates, but it's mostly because they were not able to choose a career. They normally nowadays, actually, people are settling for jobs, not careers. So we need to really create support systems where people can take on career guidance and be able to embrace the careers that are there for them. And then we have Fina Gardens. Fina Gardens Resort is a resort in Naivasha. This resort, if you go, you have a for those of you who attend seminars in Naivasha and you're looking for a place to stay, Fina Gardens Resort will be your people. If you're looking for a place to go on holiday with your family, or with yourself, or with your spouse, or Mpanga, or whatever it is that you want to take to Naivasha, and for those of you who are going to the rally sometime in June, Fina Gardens Resort will be, yeah. And if you want to take Wafula with you, I will give you his number, as if I know it. And then we have, and then we have Panessa training. If you're looking to take on carpentry, and we have an intake, the June intake is ongoing. Please join us. You can check our Facebook or Instagram page for more details. And then we have Kapula Mintito, the Career Management Center. And of course, we have Pathway Solutions Services. Pathway Solutions, congratulations to those of you who won their session last week. I hope you have received my email. If you haven't and you expressed interest, please check your spam folder, because sometimes my emails, because of sending invites, it's actually going straight to your spam. So just check in your junk mail or your spam folder, and you might get your login details, or rather more information on how you can access Pathway Solution Services. They have developed some courses on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System, where you can actually learn by yourself. You do an assessment, and at the end of the day, you get a certificate. So Pathway Solution Services are your people for that. And then we have WeClean. They do 24-hour delivery for your carpets. Their machine cleans within 6 minutes. They pick up your carpet today, they'll be able to deliver it tomorrow, and they do same-day delivery. And then we have 1D Restaurant. So we appreciate you, our partners. Thank you very much for just partnering with us and for just helping us be the change we want to see. We normally don't charge for these sessions, and we wouldn't be able to do them if it were not for partners. And if you're here and you would want to partner with us, please reach out to me, and then we can work something out. So asanteni sana. I hope this was an enlightening session for you. And I hope that the men on this call will start changing their mindset and changing their mindset about seeking help. And for the women on the call, please support the men. Let's raise our children to be more resilient, and let us raise a society without those negative masculinity. So my name is Grace Nzula. I have been your host, and obviously joined by my co-host, Catherine Sidandi, our sign language interpreter. We are trying to be as inclusive as we can. I saw Paul of Disability Sausage. He's actually blind, and he's been following us for a while now. Thank you very much, Paul, for making it here. And it is quite a pleasure to have you, our audience. Thank you very much. Let's meet next week, same time, same place. We have quite some interesting topics for June. We are lining up. We have a business topic coming up. We have a mental health session again coming up. We have a money cost, a session coming up. We have quite a lot coming in. I don't know why Jacinta and David have not posted, I've not seen Kevin today, have not posted the YouTube link. For those of you who came late, there's a YouTube link where you can be able to actually catch up on the discussion this evening. And then to our Facebook family, I've seen Coach Richard, Mama J, I've seen Janto, I've seen Nyagodie, I have seen who else? Quite a number of people who are logged in onto Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you. I've seen Doreen. Doreen, thank you very much for being consistent, and we appreciate you. So we have a WhatsApp group. If you'd like to know what's coming up next on Get It Right with Zatara Solutions, I think, I don't know where the team is today. Where are these, my people? And we really apologize for those of you who tried to log in and they were not able to. Poleni sana, I don't know what happened. In all honesty, sometimes technology just does a number. But at least we were able to share the Facebook link, and we were able to log in for those who were able to. If you are not, don't worry, you can find the recording. So I am going to post our WhatsApp group link on the chat. There we are. If you want to know what else is coming up on Get It Right with Zatara Solutions, please join our WhatsApp group. And then we have the YouTube channel. Kindly subscribe. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, and also LinkedIn, where we try to shout about us. So there's the YouTube link and there's the WhatsApp link on the chat. So as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Karaoke. We really appreciate you.
Welcome.
Thank Nancy for me. We've hosted Nancy 3 times. So
okay.
Yeah, she's normally home here. Yeah. So thank you very much for making the time, and we hope to engage some more in the future. For the audience who are still left, Karaoke had shared his number, and you can be able to reach out to him. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you, our audience. Thank you, Karaoke. Thank you, my co-host, Mr. Wafula. You have been quite what. You met the session.
I meant it. You can come. We'll link up next week at the club.
Okay.
You can have all the unga you want.
Please note that is a Muluya talking. All right. So, asanteni sana, and have yourselves a lovely, lovely, lovely